Corinne Freeman was at home with her kids on Wednesday when she got a text from a number she didn't recognize.
It was this odd, ominous feeling text message basically saying, hello, you've been selected to be a slave on a plantation, and you're scheduled to get picked up at 12 a.m. on November 13th.
How did it feel when you got that text message?
Well, I was immediately disturbed.
And she's not alone. Social media sites have been flooded with people from New York to Florida who say they've gotten these racist messages. Freeman and others believe the texts may have been sparked by the current political climate.
No, you heard that correctly. In the wake of the election, Black individuals were receiving text messages summoning them to report for slave duties, given a slave number, given a plantation letter, the whole shebang. Starting Wednesday morning, so the Wednesday after the election, across the continental U.S., people were receiving these text messages telling them they were slaves again. They were particularly circulating on college campuses and seemed to be more prevalent on historically Black universities. These messages were sent to adults, college-age kids, and literal minors. And some of these text messages referred directly to President-elect Donald J. Trump.
Presidents, including children, received texts from unknown numbers telling them they've been selected to, quote, pick cotton. Sam Burwell in Virginia got one and says he was shocked to see the sender knew his name. Mr. Burwell is an African-American, as are many of the other victims. His text reading, be ready at 12 p.m. sharp with your belongings. Our executive slaves will come get you in a brown van. Be prepared to be searched down once you enter the plantation. You're in Plantation Group W.
The commentary surrounding these text messages now is that it is in no way linked to Donald Trump's campaign or Donald Trump himself. And he, I'm sure, didn't send the text messages himself. I'm sure it didn't come from his staff. But to name him personally in these text messages, I think tells you something about his voter base and why they voted for him. Hi there, it's me here to interrupt me from the past to read a statement for you. The messages that I'm talking about, the text messages, appear to have started on Wednesday, the day after Election Day. Some of the messages mentioned the Trump campaign, which strongly denied any connections, according to the BBC. Stephen Chung, a campaign spokesman, said the campaign has absolutely nothing to do with these text messages. That is the statement they have made. I wanted to pass that along to you. Now, enjoy the rest of the video. This is clearly the kind of behavior that people feel comfortable eliciting now because Donald Trump is the president-elect, because he's going to sit in office. And the FBI decided to investigate, as they should. And after they decided to investigate, they discovered that Hispanic and LGBTQ individuals were also receiving threatening text messages like these after the election, telling them they were either going to be deported or sent to a reevaluation camp.
The FBI is investigating a new round of offensive and racist text messages and emails, this time targeting Hispanic and LGBTQ+ groups, as well as high school students. Now, authorities say that the messages told recipients to report to a re-education camp or that they were selected for deportation. This comes after another round of messages were sent to Black college students nationwide last week with racist messages referencing slavery.
And the Monday night before the election happened, a over 100-year-old administration building at HBCU Knoxville College was set ablaze, completely destroyed. For those of you who don't know, HBCU is a historically all-Black school in the middle of Tennessee. Now, the cause of the fire, not yet known. So I can't say it was a hate crime. I can't say it was the same group of people who sent the threatening text messages. I can't say it was technically about the election. However, seems a little convenient to me, a little too convenient, that around the election, both the day before and the day after, an administration building at an all-Black school in Tennessee is set ablaze, and that 2 days later, Black students as young as 13 years old by name are receiving text messages telling them that under Donald Trump's new administration, they have been selected for slavery and they will be picked up for cotton picking.
You know, one group that really sealed the deal for the former president, and this was an unexpected group, Black men and Hispanic men. Donald Trump increased his margin significantly among both groups. In Pennsylvania, he got around 25% of Black men. In North Carolina, 21% of Black men. Republicans haven't seen numbers like that since Richard Nixon. The Republican Party has effectively become a working class, multiracial party.
So if these threats, these behaviors are coming from the conservative party, why on earth are so many individuals from the working class who are the targets of these behaviors deciding to head into that party anyway? It seems counterintuitive. But the answer is they're not being heard by the Democratic Party. For years now, the Democratic Party, the establishment's argument, their basis for why they should be elected is, well, these were not Republicans. And it turns out that is, according to the voter base of America, no longer acceptable. That is not going to cut it anymore. Turns out, after so much time doing it, you can't just do nothing and then say, well, at least we don't want to kill gay people and send Black people, back to slavery. Apparently, that argument, the bar is so low. The bar could not be lower. It's touching the ground. And it turns out, when people want to change, they will take any change they can get. Some Black voters, when asked why they voted for Donald Trump this time around instead of voting for a Democrat, they said that they felt they weren't receiving support from the Democratic Party. They weren't receiving much of anything, and they wanted something, anything, a change. When Kamala first started running her campaign, she ran populist, and that's what people want. Surprise, people want cheaper groceries. They want cheaper rent. They want access to healthcare. They want access to rights. They want populist things. That's why she was ahead. And then halfway through her campaign, she turned big business, and nobody wants that. That is just the same thing that Democrats have been doing and hiding behind for years now. And it turns out people weren't going to take that anymore. What we are seeing here is the symptom of a much larger problem within the Democratic Party as it currently is. It needs a change. It needs to be completely restructured. It used to be a working class party, a multiracial working class party, and it now exists to hold up the status quo for rich people. Really, when you look at it fiscally, there's not much difference between the Republican establishment and the Democratic establishment. And people are tired of it. You have to stop pointing the finger at people who voted for Trump and start to ask yourself, why would people who are the target of threats and historical violence from this party vote for this party? Why was he able to double his numbers in that way? You need to ask why, so that we can understand the root of the problem, so that we can fix the root of the problem. What we need is for our Democratic leaders to ask that question, to ask, why did this happen? Not go, ugh, I can't believe this happened, but to ask why, and then to work on making the changes that their base wants to see. That is the only way for the Democratic Party to move forward. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to check out some of my content that isn't news related, you can check out my personal YouTube channel at Bad Gamer Wyatt. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.